And welcome back to Quad City Chaos, Day 2 here at the Bunker in Toronto, Ontario, in Downsview Park. And I'm Mr. Whistler. I am joined by my good friend,
Obi Sirius.
Obi Sirius. We are about to see another B team matchup. This will be featuring the Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars, who will be wearing white, taking on the Sub-Zero Sirens from Queen City Roller Girls in Buffalo, New York. We're going to be getting underway very shortly, so we may not get too far into the rosters, but a quick run-through of the Toronto roster. 0-1 Wrecker, 100 Pink Slaminade, 10-17 Wearing the Sea is Bigley Smalls, 1-1-1-1 Wolverina, 12-34 Lucid Lou, 13-12 Vanguard, 14-85 Victory Lap, 30 Murdercat, 33 Wheels of Misfortune, 34 Robber Blind, 47 is Morton, 60 is Chronic, 7 is Banshee, 867 is That Meg Fenway. Their alts for this game are Rosemary's Rabies and Stabby Road. The bench will be managed by Flying Brian Kilman along with Muscle Car.
Again, I'm going to run through the Queen City Roller Derby Sub-Zero Sirens very quickly. I'm going to start with 027 Veggie Cowgirl, 138 May Bring Down to House, 324 Aaron Gobralis, number 4 Nick Nugget, 505 Chicky Demolish, 51 Dana Skullcrusher, 610 Wailing Wench, 64 Celery Stalker, 73 Rex Kitten, 8 Slamuel Jackson, 816 Double Barrel, 88 Jules Byrne, 905 McCready, 97 Brutalities, and on the bench for the Sub-Zero Sirens is a Librarian and Vile Lovett.
Now, both of these teams have already played this weekend. We saw the Sub-Zero Sirens play the first game of the day against the Montreal Sexpos. Yesterday, the Toronto B squad faced the Montreal Sexpos themselves, and both the Sub-Zero Sirens and the Toronto B squad with similar results in lopsided defeats to the Montreal Sexpos. So it'll be interesting to see how these two teams match up.
Very much looking forward to. We've had some big gaps and some very, very close games. I'm really hoping for a real smash 'em up here.
Yeah, one thing we did see in both cases when they played the Sexpos, a lot of foul outs, and I can't say that's necessarily on these two teams. I think it's certainly a lot of credit going to the Sexpos drawing and forcing a lot of penalties. When Toronto played the Sexpos yesterday, they had 5 foul outs. Earlier today, the Sirens had 3 against the Sexpos. So the Sexpos forced 8 foul outs from their opponents in their 2 games this weekend.
That's very talented.
All right, who do we have on the 1234 Skako start line, Obi?
For Toronto Roller Derby, Pink Slaminade. For Queen City, Dana Skullcrusher, and Dana Skullcrusher quickly getting the lead jammer declared.
And she's already going to be on a power jam. A misconduct actually being issued to Pink Slaminade right off the top. So she's going to take a seat into the Camp Roller Derby penalty box.
Dana Skullcrusher making it through. It's a full 5-point grand slam. First blood, Queen City.
Dana Skullcrusher doing double duty this weekend, also playing yesterday for the Lake Effect Furies. There is a second penalty that was issued to Pink Slaminade. Looks like it was a combination back-to-back. It was a back block and then a misconduct. So Pink Slaminade starting off with a full minute in the Camp Roller Derby penalty box, Obi.
That's given Queen City the momentum that they need. Quickly taking a 10-point lead, 2 grand slams already. Dana Skullcrusher just taking full advantage of this and running with it. Coming through the pack pretty easily. Quick spin, and she's all the way out for a 3rd time, 15 points.
Yeah, everybody just setting up at turn 4 right now. Toronto with a diamond up at the front. See the offense come in now from the Sirens. Bench getting very vocal. They're going to tell Pink to call it. Sorry, not Pink. Dana, I apologize. So with that quick call off, 15 points on that first jam. Pink Slaminade is standing in the Camp Roller Derby penalty box. This will be another power start for the Sirens.
Jules Byrne going to start off for Queen City Roller Derby. Number 88.
So Toronto taking the back wall there. Seeing Lucid Lou along with Angard. Victory Lap with the takeout into the infield.
Pink's Lemonade returning to the track, making it up much further than Jules is.
Pink's Lemonade has earned lead jammer status, having emerged from the box, but then she gets taken all the way back, so she's just going to call it, and we're going to start this one fresh. No points on that jam. Officials calling a timeout. This official timeout brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics, the official training partner of Toronto Roller Derby. ToRD would like to thank Roller Derby Athletics for making them safe, strong, and unstoppable. For off-skate fitness training, check out their programs at rollerderbyathletics.com. Also, tournament MVPs, which will be awarded at the end of today, sponsored by, among other people, Roller Derby Athletics. During this official timeout, Pink's Lemonade being returned to the penalty box. I see an illegal procedure show up on the whiteboard. So right away, we've got 3 penalties for number 100 on Toronto.
Within 3 minutes, not a great start.
Well, she'll be looking to make up for that when she's back on the track. So we do have this power start again for the Sirens.
McCready taking the star for the Sub-Zero Sirens. Trying to find her way on the outside, bobbing and weaving, trying to get around number 33, Wheels of Misfortune. Finds her way on the inside, lead jammer.
So again, Toronto setting up at the front, the triangle. Only 2 blockers left on the track at the moment for the Sirens, but they're going to come in to run some offense. Penalty has been served by Pink's Lemonade. She's back on the track, star in hand. Follows her pivot. Morton through, completes the initial pass. Star back on the helmet.
McCready paying attention, knows where this is at. Calls off the jam. Queen City picking up another 5. Now 20-0 for Queen City over Toronto Roller Derby.
Tournament MVPs will also be sponsored this weekend by Diva Cup. Diva Cup for contributing price packs to the MVP award packs.
On the 12:34 skate code start line for Sub-Zero Sirens, double barrel. For Toronto Roller Derby is number 7, Banshee.
Banshee, a very pushy, athletic jammer up at the front, does secure lead jammer.
Double barrel making it out of the pack. Banshee quickly through the pack, tapping on her hips as she gets all the way through.
And saw she completed that little spinorama move, Obi. She was riding it backwards on one skate. See her do that a lot in home team play and also play here. Another penalty box violation being issued to Toronto. Just seeing Vatmeg Fenway being sent back for a procedural call. Had been in the box previously, now back in the box. Timeout now being called by Toronto.
Is it me, Mr. Whistler, or is that a lot of penalties very quickly?
They've been coming in fits and starts, and right now they're having penalty fits at the start is kind of what we're seeing. So this team timeout again is brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. Tell you a little bit more about what RDA is contributing to the MVP packs. Each tournament MVP will receive certificates for the Roller Derby Athletics Stride Booster Advanced Level Training Program. Build next-level explosive power, quickness, and agility with targeted advanced training designed for highly competitive athletes. They'll get access to all Stride Booster and premium content for 3 months. Having a look there at the Camp Roller Derby penalty box, that make Fenway and Morton sitting in there for Toronto. So Flying Brian coming close to the box, just having a quick word. Did see 4 points come in, though, on that jam for Toronto. So the score is 20-4, 25 minutes left.
Wolverina for Toronto Roller Derby and Jules Byrne for Queen City Roller Derby on the 12:34 skate code start line.
Now, Wolverina working her way up the outside. has one more to beat, and she does, picking up lead. Just had to get around Slamuel Jackson.
Jules Byrne getting recycled to the rear. She's got to make her way back through the pack. Still hasn't completed her initial pass, but Wolverina all the way through. Trying to count fingers as they go by. 5 fingers up.
Yeah, that initial pass actually got completed fairly easily there for Jules Byrne. Not sure what happened between Wheels of Misfortune and Robert Blinds. They got their wires crossed a bit. I'm seeing another illegal procedure hand signal out there on the track.
Looks like it's going to be Murder Cat for Toronto Roller Derby, Dana Skullcrusher for the Sub-Zero Sirens. Murder Cat has a 2-wall she's got to get past. Finds the path through, but no, it's Dana Skullcrusher out first. Lead jammer going to the Sub-Zero Sirens.
Yeah, Murder Cat was being sprung there as there had been a multiplayer block issued to one of the Queen City blockers. However, didn't clear quite fast enough for her to make any hay with it. And as a result, Dana Skullcrusher picks up the lead and picks up 3-4. There's the fourth finger. 4 points coming in on that one. That's going to make your score 24-12 as Sub-Zero Sirens currently doubling Toronto.
On the 12:34 Skate Co start line, Banshee going up against Double Barrel.
Banshee only one more to beat, comes in hard. No call on that. She can collide it with Chicken Demolish. So Banshee picking up lead. Robert Blind goes in for the takeout. Swing and a miss, though, as Double Barrel evades on that initial pass. Banshee flying over her teammate. Puts up a 4-point pass. 24-16. Rollerbones turbos and Bone Swiss bearings makes for a winning combination. Find out more at rollerbones.com.
McCready for the Sub-Zero Sirens and Wolverina for Toronto Roller Derby. We're going to start this jam off. Hit right off the bat to McCready. Doesn't seem to phase her, but Wolverina going to the front. Hard hit from number 97, Brutalities.
Yeah, that big shoulder hit held up Wolverina for a little bit, but she recovered in time to be able to pick up lead jammer.
Full 5-point grand slam there for Wolverina and Toronto Roller Derby.
Toronto defense now starting to take effect. Wolverina with her second 5-point pass of the jam, and then we now have another lead change. Toronto currently up 26-24 as this jam continues.
McCready getting continually pulled back to the rear of the pack. While Wolverina taking these away all around the outside, picking up another grand slam for Toronto.
So Angard picking up a high blocking penalty. Taking a seat in the Camp Roller Derby penalty box. This is now a power jam, although I don't think McCready knows that yet. McCready is being followed by Tall Glass of Water, the jam referee, indicating that there was a track cutting penalty. So a huge jam there for Wolverina, picking up 20 points. And just like that, Obi, we've got a 36-24 lead right now for Toronto's All-Stars.
Yep, and it's going to be a power start for Toronto as well. She's going to get the full 30 seconds in the box from McCready.
Officials calling a timeout. Speaking of officials, let me tell you who our officials are for this game. Of course, all weekend long, the tournament head referees parking lot, tournament head NSO, Sam Burgess. Parking lot from Hammer City, Sam Burgess from Old Capital City. Crew head referee right now is Jules and Regulations, joined by Helen Bayon, Jean-Philippe Baman, Tall Glass of Water, Penny Whistler, Patricide, and Davey Darko.
Murder Cat taking the star for Toronto Roller Derby. While McCready still in the penalty box. Easy lead jammer for Murder Cat. I'm not sure how to pronounce the exclamation mark at the end of that.
We've got a Queen City skater on her knees over at turn 1, being directed to leave the track or leave the lane. I'm not sure what is happening over at that end, to be honest. Murder Cat, meanwhile, is putting up points.
McCready back on the track. Now she's making her way through. Not stopping Murder Cat at all.
Another procedural call being signaled, this time to Lucid Lou from Toronto, number 1234, on her way to the Camp Roller Derby penalty box. I can't remember the last time seeing so many procedural calls coming in with such frequency. So right now we're seeing a 20-point lead on the scoreboard. 44 for Toronto, 24 for... Oh, no, there's some more points coming in. It was a 15-point jam, so it's 50-24 in favor of Toronto. 18 minutes plus on the period clock.
Pink's Lemonade taking the star for Toronto Roller Derby. Jules Byrne for the Sub-Zero Sirens.
Toronto right now in the last 4 jams on a 32-0 run.
Pink's Lemonade not getting that, cutting the track.
So that 32-0 run might be in jeopardy, as with that track cut, we're going to see Pink's Lemonade on her way to Camp Roller Derby penalty box.
Well, there were the whistles to stop that jam.
You have Flying Brian standing in the center of the track right now, along with Libralian, waiting for a signal. Nope, there's no timeouts being called. No meetings.
Dana Skullcrusher.
There's the official timeout
There
call.
we go.
Bit of confusion. They had sent one of the Sirens, Chickademolish, to the Camp Roller Derby penalty box, and it looks like they're waving her back into play. As things stand, though, in the camp, 2 members from Toronto, including their jammer, Pink's Lemonade. On the Queen City side, looks like may bring down a house sitting there as well.
More conversations going on. Hearing a whistle now. Hopefully that means we're going to get back to the action very shortly. Again, number 51, Dana Skullcrusher for the Sub-Zero Sirens, taking the star.
Toronto blocker on the track made some hip-to-hip contact with Dana Skullcrusher. Not one of them, though, able to hold her back. Picks up lead jammer.
Pink's Lemonade now standing up in the penalty box, ready to come back.
Coming down the straightaway right now, Dana Skullcrusher knocked to the infield, but back on in a hurry, not drawn back. Working her way around the outside, comes up against that Meg Fenway. Commander Will Recker waiting with a little hip flick there, doesn't impede. Robert Blind also has to let her go. Pink's Lemonade, though, back on the track. That is a good initial pass.
Pink's Lemonade catching up to Dana Skullcrusher. Dana slides in, taps on her hips very quickly.
Calls it from the outside. It's an 8-point jam. So that's going to take the Sub-Zero Sirens up to 32. Toronto holding at 50, 16 and a half minutes left in the first half.
Starting to close that lead.
This one looks like it's going to be a 3-2 pack advantage for the Sub-Zero Sirens. Toronto has Morton and Angard up front. Oh. Dead. On the track right now for the Sub-Zero Sirens. Seeing Celery Stalker. I'm seeing Rex Kitten. And that would appear to be Wailing Wench, I believe. Yep, those are the three blockers. Once again, Queen City's Sub-Zero Sirens wearing black. Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars B Squad is wearing white. Officials are wearing white and black.
I'm happy you clarified.
And so now we're in an official timeout again. Penalties, get a little update on the number of penalties. They've been very active on that whiteboard already. Pink Slaminate already sitting on 5. Totals so far, Toronto has taken 15 penalties. Queen City, 13. So I know I was saying earlier, both teams ran into a lot of penalty trouble when they played the Sexpos this weekend, and was giving a lot of credit to the Sexpos, but I think both these teams may need to take a little bit of credit themselves the way this game is starting to play out.
5 seconds ago, Double Barrel and Banshee. Double Barrel taking a quick spill. Banshee can't make any headway. Finally gets around on the inside. Banshee getting lead jammer for Toronto Roller Derby.
You know what? Yeah, Angard and Morton were both doing a reasonable job there working on Double Barrel. Held her back just long enough for Banshee to get that lead jammer, but neither team able to get points on it. We'll start this one again with the same score, 50-32.
Double Barrel was really turning on the heat there as she was coming up. You could see the panic in the eyes of Banshee.
And I misspoke. It was actually 4 penalties so far for Pink Slaminate, not 5.
Wolverina on the gem line. She's got 28 points so far, and she's 100% of lead jammer. She's got 2 on there, 2 done. This will be her 3rd.
Yeah, Wolverina having a bit of a breakout weekend. Picking up lead jammer yet again, keeping that 100% success rate. Longtime member of Toronto Roller Derby, but this is the first year she is training with the All-Stars.
Takes her 4 and shuts it down.
Roller Sports Canada provides insurance and support for all Canadian roller sports. Visit them at rollersports.ca. You can also find them on Facebook, searching RSC Roller Derby. Toronto's starting to line up far ahead.
McCready and Murder Cat. The 12:34 skate goes start line, but it's McCready quickly out first for the Sub-Zero Sirens. Got 18 points behind. This is their chance to make it up, make that 22 points behind.
Toronto's actually skating this jam one skater short. At the last second, they were trying to sub somebody back out on the track and got the one person off, did not get the extra person on. So concluding who's in the penalty box, they've only got 3 blockers and a jammer at their disposal for the length of this jam.
So far, both teams just trading their points back and forth. McCready trying to make some headway on that by calling off the jam in the middle, but she actually gets her hips past all of them, so she gets the full 4. So that's an 8-4 jam for the Sub-Zero Sirens.
Officials taking a bit of a head count there on the number of skaters that were out there and how the points get calculated. That's an 18-point lead still for Toronto. Just over 13 minutes left in the first half, this being the final B-team game of the weekend.
Dana Skullcrusher and Banshee out there on the track. But Dana Skullcrusher cutting the track, going to the penalty box, and it's Banshee with lead jammer for Toronto Roller Derby. Banshee checking in with her bench as she passes by. Trying for a deke on the outside, gets stopped up. All momentum lost, but then she finds the path again. 5-point grand slam for Toronto Roller Derby. Banshee coming up on her second scoring pass. Just bouncing and bobbing and weaving through the pack. She's kind of doing the Fred Flintstone tiptoe as she makes it through.
Yeah, she went down hard on her knees. Took a little while to get up. Was wiping her face. Don't know if that was contact or maybe got a smear.
Dana Skullcrusher comes out of the penalty box with star in hand.
See Jules and regulations, crew head referee having a quick word there with Flying Brian. Making sure everyone's all on the same page.
Wolverina and Double Barrel on the 12:34 skate go start line.
Seeing Toronto take that back wall, they're starting to get some success with this formation. Taking that back wall, trusting their jammers to run some offense. See Bigley Smalls in the middle there, bridging. Wolverina now breaks through, continues her impressive streak here of picking up lead jammer.
4 for 4 for her. Double Barrel still stuck at the back. Wolverina, natural grand slam as she makes it all the way through.
Wolverina, longtime member of home team Smoke City here in Toronto Roller Derby. Putting that experience to work here, wearing the star for the All-Stars. Big hit there from Bigley Smalls. Used both barrels on Double Barrel. And Double Barrel is actually going to head to... Looks like she's heading, yes she is, taking a seat in the Camp Roller Derby penalty box.
Wolverine on her second time through. Looking for a third. 10 points already for Toronto Roller Derby.
It looks like that was a low block call on Double Barrel.
That's the third one. Pack at a complete standstill as Wolverina comes up, re-engages, eases on past the inside.
Well, Wolverina's already eclipsed her high points from earlier in this game in terms of points in a jam. Double Barrel leaving bodies in her wake as she completes her initial pass, having left the Camp Roller Derby penalty box. Wolverina putting up 24 big points on that jam. And that's going to take Toronto to 91. Sub-Zero Sirens sitting at 49 minutes left on the period clock, Obi.
Well, Murdercat's going to see if she can continue that momentum right now that Toronto has. Jules Byrne for the Sub-Zero Sirens is looking to squash it. The pack is moving backwards just before the whistle.
I almost got a little seasick there. I thought the floor was tilting. Murdercat pushing and pushing up at the front.
Murdercat only had 2 to get through at one point. Back up to 4 and then back down to 0. She makes it out. Lead jammer to Toronto Roller Derby. Quickly on her heels, though. Jules Byrne not giving any quarter.
See Toronto here doing some bookending. They don't quite close the elevator doors, but it does work. They get 2 points. That jam goes 2-0 for Toronto. Banshee going out there again.
Going up against McCready for the Sub-Zero Sirens. Banshee quickly up to the front. She's got a 3-wall. Getting stretched out. She makes it out past Nick Nugget. Lead jammer going to Toronto Roller Derby. A bit of a mess at the back with McCready. Now taking a penalty. This is a power jam for Banshee and Toronto Roller Derby.
Yeah, it's a back blocking call against McCready. So Banshee already with 5 points thus far on this power jam. That one was a bit of a mess, but Banshee comes through unscathed.
You used the phrase earlier about leaving bodies in the wake. I see that happening a lot in this game. Banshee losing some momentum as she comes into the pack this time. Easily spins around, makes her way out of it though. One more Grand Slam for Toronto Roller Derby.
Banshee takes a peek at the Camp Roller Derby penalty box, see what the status is of McCready. Saw her standing. McCready is back on, star in hand, completes the stash, putting it back on the helmet. Banshee's going to call it between turns 1 and 2. Banshee getting knocked around a fair bit, but puts up 15 more points on the scoreboard. Wolverina back out of the 12:34 Skako's start line. So far, she's 4 for 4. Oh, timeout being called. But she is still 100% with a lead jammer. So far, she's picked up 56 points. This is another official timeout. It's a team timeout. There it is. Team timeout being called by Sub-Zero Sirens. And again, all team timeouts are being brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics, the official training partner for Toronto Roller Derby. ToRD would like to thank Roller Derby Athletics for making them safe, strong, and unstoppable. Something that's not being stopped, though, right now is the parade to the penalty box. We can maybe scroll down just a little bit. You can see 867 on the Toronto side, on the white. There we go. Already picking up 5 penalties for that Meg Fenway. 2 of those look like they are procedural. So we're seeing the whiteboard getting darker and darker as this game goes on.
Well, the quick count of about a minute ago, Toronto Roller Derby had 15.
Queen City had 13. I'm pretty sure that
Yeah, but it gives a good ratio.
Yeah, you just got to see where things are at. Basically, it means both teams are getting a little heavy on the penalties, some heavier than others.
Power start for the Sub-Zero Sirens. Dana Skullcrusher out there. Banshee in the Camp Derby penalty box.
But Dana Skullcrusher picks up lead jammer.
And that breaks the streak. There was 4 in a row for Toronto Roller Derby of getting lead jammer.
Banshee now coming out of the Camp Roller Derby penalty box. Jam gets called there by Dana Skullcrusher, who picked up, was it just the 5? Looking to see what else is up there. Scoreboard showing 113 to 45. Having a look there at Chronic in the Camp Roller Derby penalty box. Flying Brian with his tie of flying, having a quick word from outside, just giving her some directions for what to do once she emerges.
Wolverina and Double Barrel on the 12:34 Skako's start line. Wolverina.
No.
Blocking to the back.
Wolverina loses her streak. Back blocking penalty will take her to the Camp Roller Derby penalty box. 2 jams in a row. We've had jammer penalties for Toronto. Big opportunity here for Double Barrel and the Sub-Zero Sirens to get themselves back in this one. Not very far out right now, but they could certainly use a couple of double-digit jams.
Well, we've seen some pretty big scoring jams, 24.
Double Barrel, little hop and a skip and a slip, but stays on her feet. Looking to see how the Sirens handle this one. They're lining up right now for strict defense because they saw Wolverina standing in that penalty box they were waiting for. However, Chronic runs a bit of interference. That's the initial pass for Wolverina. Double barrel, meanwhile, getting held up by Toronto defense.
Hard hits there going on to double barrel. She's trying to make her way through. Wolverina not paying any attention. Slides on and through.
Both jammers through and scoring. Librolian, who's working the bench for the Sub-Zero Sirens, tells her to run it a little bit more. But both teams score on that one as Double Barrel does call it. Queen City took the advantage on that jam, 10-5. The score, though, is 118 in favor of Toronto to 55 for the Sub-Zero Sirens. 3 minutes left on the period clock. Time is being called. It looks like it's actually going to be an official review being called by the Sub-Zero Sirens, I believe. Yep, now it's shown up on the scoreboard. So this is an official review. We've been talking an awful lot about Camp Roller Derby.
Well, what's that all about
there,
Mr.
if you like camping and if you like roller derby, Camp Roller Derby Roller Derby goes to camp. Essentially, it's what this is. So gather for a fun, nostalgic, back-to-basics camp weekend with skaters, officials, and organizers from derby leagues across Ontario. It's a weekend that'll foster both structured and casual opportunities for brainstorming, idea sharing, and cooperation mixed with complimentary off-skates activities. Don't miss this unique camp program for fun, learning, and sharing with the greater roller derby community in Ontario. It's going to take place at the picturesque Camp Eden Woods in Haliburton, Ontario, August 19th to 21 this year. But find them online before the early bird offer ends on March 31st. That's camprollerderby.ca.
That sounds way more productive than any camping trip I've ever taken. Usually the hardest thing to do there is find a stick to toast your marshmallow.
So once we get some information about the nature of this review, we will be bringing you that information. Having a look there at some of our photographers, Neil Gunner and Greg Russell on the lower left of your screen. There's Flying Brian having a talk with Titmouse, a member of the All-Stars, who is not skating this weekend due to an injury. Having a look there on the floor, you may remember him. It's our good friend Hawk Carl. Used to bench manage the Gorgor Roller Girls, one of the Toronto teams. Also used to be an official. I'm going to get some updates for you, though, right now.
Breaking up in the middle now. Whistle going, so we're going to get back on the start line. Jules Byrne for the Sub-Zero Sirens. Murder Cat sliding on over for Toronto Roller Derby.
That official review, Queen City was looking for a backblocking penalty to have been issued to Toronto's jammer on that previous jam. Officials confirmed there was nothing to be penalized during that play, so the no call stands, and they do not retain their official review for the half.
Murder Cap getting pushed out. She is recycled all the way to the rear. But ditto to Jules Byrne. But Murder Cat in the middle of that sneaks out front. Lead jammer going to Toronto Roller Derby.
Both these teams looking to try to find positions to set up in over there at turn one on the way to turn two. Murder Cat there calling it from the outside. But it looked like both teams were trying to decide, well, what kind of a jam is this going to be? Because they both were kind of trying to figure out what are our formations going to be. We didn't quite see them set until quite late in that jam. Does come out as a 3-0 jam in favor of Murder Cat, though. Less than 2 minutes left. 121-55. Toronto in the lead.
Banshee McCready out there on the 12:34 skate go start line. Banshee trying to make her way on the inside. She's got all four of the Sub-Zero blockers, but she sneaks around the outside. A lead jammer going to Toronto Roller Derby.
Some formidable blocking happening here from Toronto that's kind of causing some issues for McCready. McCready looking for some help from her blockers, is getting it. At the same time, though, Banshee finds an opening and takes it, but McCready very wisely takes that same opening on her initial pass, and that's going to force Banshee to call it, although not before Banshee puts up a grand slam.
Yep, definitely going to have one more jam here. Wolverina, Dana Skullcrusher lining up on the 12:34 Skateco start line.
Both of these skaters, I would say, are going to be in the conversation when it comes to determining MVPs for the B teams this weekend. Both of them having really good numbers.
Both jammers taking a bit of grief in the middle of the pack. On the inside, though, Sub-Zero Sirens, Dana Skullcrusher getting lead jammer.
Yeah, Dana Skullcrusher took advantage of an open lane and a half on the inside. Didn't even have to come close to the rope line. Now very easily is picking up that 4-point pass. No resistance encountered on the way. Calls the jam with only about 7 seconds left on the period clock, waiting to see if it's going to be whistled down for a timeout. And yes, Flying Brian has signaled. It looks like he's probably signaling for an official review. Stopping the clock. Have to see if they're going to make any adjustments to the score clock as well. So right now, Toronto is just slightly more than doubling the Sub-Zero Sirens. Scoreboard currently showing 126-59. It is indeed an official review called by Toronto. They have added 1 second to the period clock, so that's showing 1 second left in period time. So it'll be just enough to get that jam started and play up to 2 minutes.
Looks like we're ending it off with nobody in the Camp Roller Derby penalty box. So when we do this last jam, we will have both blockers and both jammers, all 4 blockers on each team.
I see my ref nut making his way to the sideline, so I'm going to see if I can get a report from him.
Conversation breaking up in the middle. Looks like the official review is ongoing, if only that the refs are talking to each other. No, Jules and Regulations has signaled that they're done talking.
All right, so the report there is that Toronto was looking for a forearm penalty to have been issued to the Sub-Zero Sirens jammer in that last jam, but no call stands. Toronto does not retain their official review for the half.
Murder Cat getting lead jammer for Toronto Roller Derby. Double Barrel still in the pack. Multiplayer block being called there as Double Barrel escapes, but Murder Cat's already in the middle. Game period timer has run out. Murder Cat ending the jam. 2-point pickup for Toronto Derby as we end at the halftime. 128 for Toronto Roller Derby, 59 for Queen City Roller Girls.
So yes, as we go into the half, to have a quick look there, looking at Chicken Demolish and Lucid Lou, each were seated in the Camp Roller Derby penalty box, which means they're going to start the second half in that same position. Score is 128-59. We'll be back in about 12 minutes. You are watching Quad City Chaos 2016 live from the bunker in Downsview Park, a WFTDA recognized tournament. Welcome back. You're watching Quad City Chaos on Layer9.ca, simulcast on WFTDA TV. I'm Mr. Whistler.
And I'm Obi Sirius.
And you are watching the final B-team game of the weekend between the Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars and the Queen City Sub-Zero Sirens, coming out of the half, 128-59 in favor of Toronto. What's our penalty situation like, Obi?
Well, Toronto's got 26 penalties to Queen City's 20. However, Queen City has 4 of the jammer penalties, while Toronto's only got the 3. So it's a bit of give and a bit of take there.
Yep. Meanwhile, on the scoreboard side of things, leading point getter of the game thus far is Wolverina, wearing 4 ones. She wears 3 ones when she plays for the home team. She's wearing 4 ones for the All-Stars. She's got 61 points, 67% lead percentage at this point. But we do have Banshee 6 for 6 with 100%. She's got 42 points. Murder Cat is 4 for 6 with the lead, 25 points. Pink Slaminade has not scored yet. There's still a whole nother half to play here. On the Sub-Zero Sirens side, the leading point getter at this point is Dana Skullcrusher with 33 points, a 71% lead percentage. Followed by McCready has 13. She's 2 for 5 for lead. Double Barrel has 5 points, 1 for 6 with the lead, and Jules Burns is the jammer who is yet to score for the Sub-Zero Sirens. So both teams going with a 4 jammer rotation. Penalties, though, are a bit of the story, and at the moment, one in the most trouble would be that Meg Fenway, sitting with 5 box trips thus far. Have a couple of skaters with 4 on the Toronto side. That'll be Pink Slaminade, Lucid Lou, and it looks like Morton. On the Sub-Zero Sirens side of things, I believe it's Chicken Demolish who has 4 box trips thus far.
Remember, you can reach us on Twitter right here. We're reading them as we go at using the hashtag #Talk2QCC. Talk, the number 2 QCC. And we can give you shout-outs or read your questions right here live on the stream.
Might even answer them for you if we can.
Well, maybe if we can. Dana Skullcrusher and Banshee out there on the track. Banshee out front. Lead jammer going to Toronto Roller Derby.
Again, Toronto in white. Sub-Zero Sirens in black.
Dana Skullcrusher putting the head cover back on. Banshee makes it through. She picks up her 4 points, and then she's calling off the gem. She doesn't want Dana Skullcrusher to get any headway there. And I think that's what's keeping Toronto Roller Derby ahead so far.
Yeah, I would have to agree. We are seeing Wolverina back on the 12:34 Skateco start line for Toronto. She'll be facing off
Jules Byrne.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Number 88.
Also got Derby Nerd sitting next to us. He'll provide some more numbers as numbers come up.
And if there's one source you can trust, it's the Derby Nerd. Out front, Sub-Zero Sirens. Jules Byrne getting the lead jammer. Wolverina trailing behind. About a half a track. Jules Byrne trying to find her way through. She knows what's coming up behind her. Two fingers held up for Queen City. Every little bit helps.
Yeah, and those are the first 2 points of the game for Jules Byrne, so she is on the score sheet. 1 point comes in for Banshee. There was a forearm call.
Looks like Wolverina actually going to the penalty box. As the jammer, that's a power start for Queen City.
Yeah, I think there was some confusion on the Toronto side about who was getting that penalty and what it was for. Looks like it was a low block, actually.
McCready getting lead jammer status. Now she's re-engaging with the pack. Unfortunately, all momentum lost as she came up at the rear.
Sub-Zero Sirens right now. Passive offense, letting their jammer do the work. McCready, though, takes the long way back to re-enter. Wolverina has now escaped the Camp Roller Derby penalty box, along with Chronic. Chronic helps run some interference so that Wolverina can complete that initial pass.
Wolverina, now coming up on the pack. There's the track awareness. Calling off the jam, stopping Wolverina from picking up any points there because it would have been close.
Yes, a smart play there by McCready. So that's a 4-0 jam for the Sub-Zero Sirens.
It's going to be Murder Cat and Double Barrel taking this next jam. Camp Roller Derby penalty box completely empty. Full contingent out there.
As long as they left Camp Roller Derby the way they found it, following the campsite rule.
That's right, leave no trace. Wait, that'd be a better joke if Jules Byrne was out there.
Another lead jammer going to the Sub-Zero Sirens. It's 2 straight now.
I think they had a good talk at the halftime, the Sub-Zero Sirens. They're coming back with a fury here. Wait, no, that's the other team.
Starting to see the Sub-Zero Sirens do what the Lake Effect Furies do so well, is get those 4 points and then let some time chip away, and then call it. Not necessarily trying to work the clock at this stage in the game, but maybe getting the opposing team to expend a bit more energy, tire themselves out, and trying to catch up to the pack.
Takes Lemonade and Jules Byrne on the 12:34 skate go start line. No movement there for Jules Byrne, but Pink's Lemonade comes up to a 4-wall, getting some help from her own team.
Bigley Smalls now drops back to drop an anchor, and then also drops a bomb on Jules Byrne. Bigley Smalls, though, is going to go to the penalty box for that bomb drop.
Pink with a spin around makes it out of the pack. Lead jammer.
It's actually the first lead jammer going to Toronto in 4 jams.
Big thumbs up to her team as she goes around the bench. Ooh, Pink makes it through, but falling, checking out the floor for a quick second. Jules Byrne now in the free and open spaces. Pink makes it through as well. She got a full Grand Slam out of that one. It's like she's killing time there, waiting for the last possible second to call off that jam.
Yep, and saw Jules Byrne trying to do a little quarterbacking there, directing her blockers to go up and move some bodies aside. All for naught, though, as the jam did get called there by Pink. Score is 138-69, 24 minutes left in the second half.
And we're going to have Dana Skullcrusher and Banshee on the 12:34 skate go start line. It's like 1 each in the penalty box, so 3 blockers to get through for each. Dana Skullcrusher, big triangle in front of her. Banshee making some progress, breaking up that defense. Oh, but coming through, but then recycled. That was very close. Lead jammer going to Banshee.
A multiplayer block call on that Meg Fenway. That's her 6th box trip of the game.
Banshee making it through. She gets a full Grand Slam for that. Dana Skullcrusher, star in hand. About a half track behind.
Banshee looking to her bench, waiting to find out when to call it. Glides through the apex on her knees, resulting in some incidental contact there with Chicken Demolish. No calls to be made on that. Before the apex slide, though, 2 points were earned there by Banshee on that pass, so that's a 7-0 jam.
Is that an official term, apex slide?
It's a dance you do at a wedding, I think, actually.
I need to go to the weddings that you go to. Double barrel, Wolverina taking the stars for this gem. Double barrel trying to make it on the outside, but she's getting blocked. Wolverina finding no play. Double barrel out first, though. Lead jammer to Sub-Zero Sirens.
That big Fenway came in like a bat out of hell, but missed everybody on that one.
Pack stalling on turn 3. Double barrel sliding in, tapping her hips. And getting all 4 points.
Nice work there, for sure. Monster Muffin with the studio only 30 minutes north of Toronto. You can't, north of Toronto. You can't get much more local than this. Monster Muffin clothing is proudly made in Canada, providing quality derby apparel to the world. Check them out and fall in love at monstermuffin.com. Had a quick look there at the Camp Royal Derby penalty box. That was Angard sitting there, having picked up a multiplayer block on that last jam.
McCready and Murder Cat going to the pack, which is starting off close to the pivot line. Big melee, Brownie in motion going on there just around turn 1.
Murder Cat getting knocked around there by that front wall of Sub-Zero Sirens. Now she's going to have to go to the back of the pack to re-enter just so she can find the floor space. Does have that helmet cover on, but it's kind of tilted a little far back, so you're seeing the gold of her helmet peeking through the front. Now you're seeing all of it because she's put the star in hand. Lead jammer going to McCready and the Sub-Zero Sirens. Murder Cat on the star stash, does not hand it off to her pivot.
McCready bouncing side to side, trying to find the opening, hoping that one of them will make a mistake. It's a question of whether she makes a mistake first or they make a mistake, then she'll find the path through.
And unfortunately, it looks like unfortunately for her, I should say, it's Murder Cat who makes the mistake with a track cut. This is now a power jam for the Sub-Zero Sirens.
Almost exactly half right now, 145 to 73.
Going to see 3 more points come in for the Sirens, and there they are. So 145 to 76, 20 minutes left in the second half. Oh, they found a fourth one. One was left on the floor, so it's 145 to 77. Stick around, we'll see some more changes to the scoreboard.
Jules Byrne taking this power start for the Sub-Zero Sirens. Looking for her path, but getting taken down, pushed to the inside. Quick recycle, doesn't take her long.
And Bigly Smalls and Lucid Lou teaming up on that takedown. Now we're seeing the diamond up at the front there, executed by Toronto. Jules Byrne trying to find a way around it, getting some offensive help here.
All the blockers seem to be playing in this one, trying to open up a path for Jules Byrne.
Yeah, Rex Kitten and Slamuel Jackson both teaming up there. They've also got Veggie Cowgirl and it looks like Celery Stalker up at the front, lying in wait there for Murder Cat.
Murder Cat making it out first. There's her lead jammer after 50 seconds into that jam. Coming from the penalty box, getting lead jammer as well.
Jules Byrne, meanwhile, trying to make some progress of her own. Knocked down hard by Morton to the infield. Elbowing penalty issued to Morton for that contact.
Murder Cat dragging out the pack a bit. She gets released. She gets full 5-point grand slam for that.
Murder Cat in control right now. Jules Byrne, star in hand. Looks like she's going to try to hand it off, but no one in reach to receive it.
She was looking a little tired there. Reaching across, quickly picked up by the pivot.
Goes over the top. Makes contact on the star pass. Pivot, though, took the helmet cover to the Camp Roller Derby penalty box, and Jules Byrne reports there as well. Have to see who is getting the penalty on this one. So a big jam there for Murder Cat, the 15-0. Scoreboard showing 160 to 77. And now having a closer look at what's happening. Yeah, a bit of confusion there between Jules Byrne and her pivot. And yes, Jules Byrne will sit as the jammer. The pivot also in the Camp Roller Derby penalty box.
Sub-Zero Sirens called for a team timeout at this point.
Yeah, they're going to need to do a little regrouping. Over on the whiteboard, couple of skaters getting in trouble now. We do have Veggie Cowgirl sitting on 5 box trips for the Sub-Zero Sirens. During that jam, Morton picking up her 6th box trip. That make Fenway already with 6. Having a look there at the Sub-Zero Sirens, talking strategy at the bench. Very calm bench. Libralian running that bench today. Libralian, of course, skating yesterday for the Lake Effect Furies in A-team action for Queen City. Nerd Roller Skates is your dedicated roller skate shop with everything you need for derby, rink, or park. Visit them online at nerdskates.com. They offer free shipping in Canada on orders over $150. Nerd Roller Skates for people who roll.
Pink's Lemonade going to take the power start for Toronto Roller Derby. Towards blockers, started off the pivot line, starting to move back as we get closer to that whistle. Pink glides through, just a hop, skip, and a step, all the way through lead jammer.
Well, she started that one with a lot of open space. There was only one blocker on the track for the Sub-Zero Sirens. That was Chicken Demolish. She was swarmed by all the Toronto blockers, so unable to do much to stop Pink's Lemonade's progress. Will Recker taking a seat in the Camp Derby penalty box for a multiplayer block.
Jules Byrne released from the Camp Derby penalty box. Pink's already made 2 Grand Slams through.
Jules Byrne bouncing off the back there of Chronic. Meanwhile, Veggie Cowgirl with a big takeout on Pink's Lemonade, who's back up in a hurry. Robert Blind with a hip flick. It's not enough to get Jules Byrne over the line. That's her initial pass. Pink's Lemonade with the call off. Does pick up a 14-0 jam. As a look at the clock, as a look over at Flying Brian, and I think there was maybe a miscommunication about the timing of when that they wanted her to call that jam off, and I saw a bit of an, sorry.
It's like Nick Nugget's going to take the star for the Sub-Zero Sirens, first time in this game. Banshee for Toronto Roller Derby.
Yeah, a couple of single digits on that 12:34 Skaco start line.
Banshee running away with it, just picking up speed very quickly to get lead jammer.
Nick Nuggets tries to take the inside line, gets knocked over it, though, by Bigley Smalls. Has to reset.
Banshee doing what she's good at, dodging and weaving all the way through. Natural 5-point Grand Slam.
McNugget knocked down hard in the outside line. Does complete her initial pass. That one gets called. It's an 8-0 jam in favor of Toronto. Halfway through the second half, they lead 182-77. Having looked there at Bigley Smalls. Bigley picking up a penalty for that contact on the jammer towards the end of that jam. That was a low block. It's been four jams since Queen City has gotten points on the board.
Dana Skullcrusher out there to try to correct that, but Wolverina is also there. Wolverina near the back. Out first, though. She quickly made it from the back to the front. Lead jammer going to Toronto Roller Derby.
And that's actually the first time in over 5 jams that Wolverina has picked up lead. Had started out 4 for 4 and then was on a bit of a dry spell. Looking to make up for that now. Makes the call off and does go 4-0. Chronic there in the Camp Royal Derby penalty box, serving a low blocking penalty.
Double Barrel and Murder Cat going to start off this next jam. Murder Cat not getting a wall in front of her, but finding individual ones, and that allows Double Barrel to sneak through the inside. Lead Jammer going to the Sub-Zero Sirens.
Murder Cat was almost propelled into her initial pass, and actually there it goes, finding some success. Looks like Queen City is going to shut her down. Coming now. There it is. Once again, just as she comes within striking distance, call it off, break a heart.
So is there an advantage to doing that if you are in the lead or if you are trailing?
Well, right now I think they're hoping they can, like I said, wear down the Toronto jammers and blockers, frankly, because they're making them work a bit extra hard. As they're doing that, their own jammers are putting the brakes up, easing up a little bit. They're not really getting any advantages by running the clock time down too much, but hopefully they're putting a bit more fatigue on their opponents.
Pink and McCready out there right now jamming. Pink looking for her path on the inside. McCready's still at the rear of the pack. Pink's got one more to get through. Breaks through. Lead Jammer going to Toronto Roller Derby.
Yeah, Pink almost riding the back of Chicken Demolish there for a second. Getting a little close and cozy there.
McCready taking the star into her hand. It looks like she might be either trying for a star pass or a fake out.
Now with her pivot far ahead, though, on the track, it's going to take a bit of repositioning if a potential pass might be in play. And no, she's going to put the cap back on the helmet, having completed that initial. Pink Slaminade now trying to come around the inside. 1 foot stays inbounds backwards. That's good for another 4 points. That's a 9-0 jam for Pink Slaminade. After a lot of stoppages in the first half, we're moving here ahead of schedule, I'd say, in the second. We do have a foul out to report. It's not just any Meg Fenway, it's that Meg Fenway has just fouled out of the game.
Veggie Cowgirl out there for the first time, I believe, for the Sub-Zero Sirens in this game. Up against Chronic. And it is Veggie Cowgirl, lead jammer for the Sub-Zero Sirens.
Yeah, that elicits a bit of a reaction from the people here in the bunker. And she's going to put up points for that, too. Gets all 4 available. That was the first time that Banshee failed to get lead jammer. She's now 9 for 10. My announcer math tells me that's a 90% percentage.
Well, there's 1 for 1 for Veggie Cowgirl, so I can calculate that one too.
Bit of confusion there. Flying Brian was waiting until the absolute last second to call a team timeout. Bit of panic, though, on the Toronto bench as they all kind of realized we need to be on the track. So they were trying to get on the track as he was calling the timeout. So he had a plan all along, Ovi.
You always have to trust your coach, right?
Yep. I'd like to tell you just a bit about how we do things here for Quad City Chaos. Layer 9 is our production team, and it takes just as many people to put on a boutcast of this nature as it does to play a roller derby game. We're talking easily 14, 16 people. There's alternates. At any moment, we've got 3 people operating cameras. For this game right now, I see Candy Sass. I see Argyle. I see somebody I can't quite see, so I'm not sure who it is. We've got Honey Boom Boom, who's producing at Drew Scovenocean earlier today, producing. Of course, Mr. Force, provider of all that we do. We've got our announcing team. If you're watching right now, there's a little eyeball up on the upper right of your screen. If you click on that eyeball symbol, it's going to open up a pop-up window. Not only gives you roster information, weekend schedule, also opens up a donation box. Every couple of cents, every couple of dollars you can throw in the kitty helps defray costs and helps us continue to bring these productions to you.
Wolverina getting lead jammered. Dana Skullcrusher right on her tail. Pack's moving into quick speed. Both jammers really got to put on the power to catch up. Wolverina didn't want to deal with that. Calls off the jam. Nothing neither way. Just under the 10-minute mark. Toronto Roller Derby at 195, Queen City at 85.
Both these teams, as we've mentioned previously, falling to the Montreal Sexpos earlier this weekend. Toronto yesterday. The Sirens earlier today.
Oddly enough, they both scored the same score, 40 and 40 against the Sexpos.
Well, they've both eclipsed their highs in B-team action so far, but it is Toronto with a sizable lead at the moment of 110 points, 195 to 85. Murder Cat picking up lead jammer is going to look to add to their side of the ledger.
Double Barrel getting stuck in the middle of the pack, but then getting reset twice now, while Murder Cat just goes on through.
Bigley Smalls had the drawback that time. Bigley Smalls, a veteran of the Toronto All-Stars in A-team action, doing a bit of double duty this weekend, playing also on the B side. Morton picking up what would be her 7th penalty. It's entered on the whiteboard as a direction of gameplay call. We'll wait and see if that holds and if she will be fouling out. Bigley Smalls now with the drawback there on Double Barrel. Murder Cat looks for space on the outside. She kind of swings the whole defense to the side, and that opens up inside lane for her.
Murder Cat going to keep going around as long as Double Barrel doesn't make it out of the pack. Tries for an apex jump there. Decides she doesn't want to make up the trip all the way back. Calls off the jam.
So no final points on that last pass. Morton, though, has indeed fouled out, is leaving the playing area. Lucid Lou subbing in. So that's 2 foul outs in this game now for Toronto.
Well, it doesn't seem to be hurting them.
We do have 7.5 minutes left, though, in the second half.
Jules Byrne, Pink's Lemonade on the track right now. These are your jammers. Both of them stuck in the middle. Pink's Lemonade making some progress on the outside, but taken to her knees. Jules Byrne on the inside. Both jammers coming up right up beside each other. It's neck and neck. We got Jules Byrne for Sub-Zero Sirens getting lead jammer.
Pink's Lemonade with the star stash. It's back on the helmet. Jules Byrne, though, working her way through. Evades a dive almost from Chronic. Survives it, though, to put up a 4 spot. There will, of course, be one more game after this to close out Quad City Chaos 2016, and that'll be the final 8-team matchup of the weekend between the charter roster of the Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars, and they'll be taking on Tri-City Thunder. That happens at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
McCready and Banshee out there. Banshee almost made her way through it. A little bit too tight. Hard hit there from Nick Nugget.
Banshee very heads up on all of those takeout attempts. I think she was taken over the line twice, possibly 3 times. Every time, though, very heads up to have a look at who she was cutting or not cutting when she re-entered. So she was able to very intelligently get back on there and not lose her position.
McGrady is taken off the star covers, taking it in hand, but still trying to push her way through. Banshee tiptoeing on the inside. That's a natural grand slam. Banshee coming up once again into the pack, sliding a little bit. Needs to reset.
Oh dear, and I'm having a look over on the Toronto bench. Angard, the pivot, had to leave gameplay because it appears that her glasses got broken during this jam. She's currently speaking with Muscle Cars, seeing if they can form some repairs on her glasses, but she might be done for the game if they can't get her glasses repaired. Meanwhile, though, Banshee still is going around. So they're skating this jam down a body. Banshee's going 20-0 so far. Still has time to put a couple more points on the scoreboard.
If you're wondering where the Sub-Zero Siren star is, it's in Nick Nugget's hands. She's the pivot, so there was a successful star transfer. It was hard to tell there for a long time who actually had it.
Yep, so Banshee does pick up one more point. That's a 21-point jam. Timeout being called here by Toronto. We're gonna look at they can maybe buy a little time, and they do have the hockey tape out, working on Angard's glasses on the bench. Banshee now has 82 points in this game for Toronto. Banshee is not only a new member for the Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars this season. Banshee's actually officially in her rookie season. Did some time last year with the Divas, the farm team for Toronto Roller Derby. Not a transfer skater, though. You wouldn't know it, though, to see her play, showing a lot of veteran poise, some just innate natural ability, and having a great home season with her home team, the Chicks Ahoy, who are in the playoffs for the first time in a couple of years. But also really doing very well this weekend here with the All-Stars.
There's some interesting similarities that these teams have, and it's nothing to do with gameplay. Is that both leagues were actually established in 2006, and both teams were completely reworked at the beginning of 2016, earlier this year. The All-Stars for Toronto Roller Derby being merged from their two travel teams, the Bay Street Bruisers and CN Power, just to become the All-Stars with an A and a B. And the Queen City Roller Girls had the Below Zero B team. That was disbanded, and then the Sub-Zero Sirens was subsequently created about a year after that. Some overlap in the members, but it wasn't created as a replacement. So there's some interesting correlations. It's like the Kennedy-Lincoln thing, but it's going on right now with the Sub-Zero Sirens and the ToRD B team.
Well, we'll just stay on the Dealey Plaza. I can tell you that during that timeout, it actually did turn into an official review called by the Sub-Zero Sirens. And the review there, they have been looking for a back-blocking call to have been issued to one of the Toronto blockers. They did not get that call, so Queen City Sub-Zero Sirens are not retaining their review for the half.
Wolverina taking lead jammer for Toronto Roller Derby, Dana Skullcrusher. Out of her initial pass, but getting denied access by Wolverina, calling her off.
No points come in for either team.
Two fists in the air. We are under 4 minutes remaining in this contest.
Score showing 231 for the Toronto All-Stars, 89 for the Queen City Sub-Zero Sirens, which is a name that has a lot of S's in it.
Murder Cat and Double Barrel. Both jammers at about the same side. Murder Cat, though, finding the path first on the outside. Lead jammer going to Toronto Roller Derby.
Bigley Smalls cutting the track in the Camp Roller Derby penalty box.
Jammer to jammer. Blocking going on.
We saw a couple of battles in the A-team game between these two leagues yesterday. Librolian and Beaver Mansbridge having similar battles. Now we're seeing it here between Double Barrel and Murder Cat.
Murder Cat having the power, though, calls it off. Double Barrel was just a little bit ahead.
And if you notice, Angard was back out during that jam. They have indeed repaired the glasses.
Jules Byrne up against Pink Slaminade. We got just about 2 minutes left. If this goes the whole time, it could be the end. Jules Byrne, a little bit of a slip inside, but getting lead jammer. Hips went past, but Pink's Lemonade far in the lead, but still in the middle of the pack.
And that was interesting. Not only the amount of time that it took for her to complete that initial pass, but the fact that she was that far ahead of the lead jammer, but had yet to complete her initial pass.
And now Pink's Lemonade actually on her scoring pass, whereas Jules Byrne only completing her initial pass. So this is a steal by Pink's Lemonade.
Yeah, so Jules Byrne does have lead status at the moment. Definitely wants to get on the board before having to call it. Expect to see a hit and quit it situation. Bigly, Smalls, Chronic, and Wheels of Misfortune racing to stay ahead and save their points.
That pack is moving fast.
They were determined not to give up any points, and they did not.
A couple of goose eggs on the end of that gem.
Pink's Lemonade, though, did have the 4 off the start, though. So the jam does go 4-0.
All right, about 40 seconds left. We'll have about 30 when the jam starts. Probably the last, but not necessarily. Dana Skullcrusher and Banshee.
And it's an official timeout. Again, this official timeout brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics, who again will be helping provide prizes for our tournament MVPs, which will be awarded probably in the neighborhood of about 6:30-ish, basically right after the final game of the day. And each MVP will receive certificates from Roller Derby Athletics for their Stride Booster Advanced Level Training Program. So thank you to Roller Derby Athletics for being a sponsor of Quad City Chaos. They are also the main training partner, the official training partner, I should say, of Toronto Roller Derby. So thank you to RDA. Clock stopped with 32 seconds on it. Points that are up there. We see 235 for Toronto, 89 for the Sub-Zero Sirens. Having a look at there at the back of Meow Kapow, the jam timer. Officials conferring there in the center of the track.
Jules and Regulations coming over to have a quick chat with Libralian. And it looks like we're going to start this gem.
It does not appear as though any significant changes of any sort arose from that, but everyone's all on the same page now.
Once again, Banshee and Dana Skullcrusher. Dana Skullcrusher sneaks around the outside, lead jammer going to Queen City Roller Girls. Banshee also escaping the pack. Dana Skullcrusher just coming up on the rear, tries to whip herself around, calls it off. There's only 4 seconds left on the clock. Is a timeout going to be called?
And it does appear that Flying Brian managed to get that timeout call just in the nick of time. So we're going to do one more of these. On that jam, though, yeah, Banshee not picking up the lead, so she went 9-for-11 in this game.
Still quite impressive.
Libralian having a quick conversation there with her jammer. That's 905 McCready. It's like, here's what you're going to do. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. Yep. Wolverina countering on the 12:34 Skakos start line for Toronto. Points in this half have been 107-34 in favor of Toronto.
So if Toronto gets the lead, Toronto gets lead jammer,
Mm-hmm.
and the 2 seconds go by,
Mm-hmm.
is it worth it to finish the jam?
Well, they're going to be done for the weekend, so, I mean, do you want to stop skating?
I generally don't start, but I can't say what they would do.
Well, at this point, I mean, I'd say, as long as you're having some success, you might as well keep going out there, end your weekend with as much success in a row as possible. Wolverina, I'm sure, is having, again, this breakout weekend. Drop like a bag of potatoes there on the straightaway. Getting away from Veggie Cowgirl, has picked up lead status, has Wolverina.
McCready also making it out of the pack.
Rena around the... Oh, she thought she stayed in, but no. The track cutting penalty. That means this jam going to run the full deuce. Wolverina with the track cut penalty in the Camp Roller Derby penalty box.
McCready looking for a strategy there. In come the strategic placement of her blockers.
Under a minute left in the jam and in the game. Each of these teams has had 5 power jams. So can't necessarily say that power jams have been the story here.
And that power jam is dead. Very good job once again by Toronto Roller Derby of killing that power jam.
Wolverina back on. There's 4 points. Brian just reminding her, nobody's lead. You can't call nothing. Just ride this one out. We've only got 15 seconds left on the jam clock. Wolverina getting some help there from Bigley Smalls.
McCready still looking for her path through, but that's the end of it. Time has run out.
So this one had a bit of a frantic beginning, Obi. This entire game, actually. Crazy penalty action in the early going. Nobody fouling out, though, on the Sub-Zero Siren side. Veggie Cowgirl does end with 6 box trips, but stays in the game. Toronto with 2 foul outs.
Once that score got too far apart, Sub-Zero Sirens had no way to bring that back up. They just kept diverging after that.
So it is going in the books as a 244-98 victory for the Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars B squad. Lining up here for trackside handshakes. So at Quad City Chaos 2016, the ToRD B team going 1-1. Sub-Zero Sirens going 0-2. And the Montreal Sexpos go 2-0. So there's your B team standings in backwards order. Coming up in about 20-25 minutes will be the final game of Quad City Chaos 2016.
That's going to be Tri-City Roller Derby's Thunder up against the Toronto Roller Derby A team, the All-Star A team.
And that is going to be an interesting one. Tri-City, making their first appearance at Quad City Chaos in a couple of years. Welcome back, Tri-City. And both that should be, I would say, a fairly evenly matched game, actually, based on performances they both had yesterday.
I fully expect that one to go back and forth several times.
Yeah, coming in this weekend, Toronto's A team ranked number 42 in the WFTDA. Tri-City Thunder coming in ranked at number 51. Both teams with some roster changes.
Both teams having attended D1 last year, although different locations. And this is our chance to see Kitchener-Waterloo area, Toronto area. It's a friendly challenge.
Yeah.
But it's you know what I mean.
So that's coming up in about 20-25 minutes. I'm Mr. Whistler.
And I'm Obi Sirius.
And you've been watching Quad City Chaos 2016 live on Layer9.ca and WFTDA TV.